Welcome to the deep dive. Ready to get into it? Today we're looking at blue light and how it affects our eyes.
Sounds pretty relevant to all of us nowadays, right?
Definitely, especially since we're talking about screens while all listening on screens.
Yeah, uh-huh. Good point.
Ironic, isn't it? Anyway, we've got this awesome scientific review from January 2025.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one. It really gets into the details.
So that's our mission for this deep dive, to really understand what this review tells us about how blue light impacts our eye health.
And what scientists are doing about it, right?
Absolutely. So first things first, I think we need to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, what exactly are we talking about when we say blue light?
Well, I know it's part of the light spectrum, but what makes it so different from other colors?
Like red or green light?
Yeah. Like what makes blue light special?
Good question. So blue light, it sits on the higher energy end of the visible light spectrum.
Higher energy.
Yeah, which means it has shorter wavelengths and packs more of a punch than, say, red or green light.
Okay, so more energy equals more potential for trouble. Should I be worried?
Well, it's not quite that simple. Blue light in itself isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Oh.
It's actually really important for us, like regulating our sleep-wake cycle,
Oh, right.
boosting alertness, and it even affects our mood. It's about finding a balance.
Okay, balance.
Yes.
So when does blue light become a problem then? When does it go from being helpful to harmful?
That's the big question, and that's what this review is really trying to figure out.
I'm all ears.
And the findings are honestly pretty eye-opening, no pun intended.
Uh-huh. I see what you did there.
But seriously, researchers have linked too much blue light exposure to all sorts of eye conditions. You've got age-related macular degeneration, also called AMD cataracts, dry eye, even inflammation of the cornea.
Okay, wow. That's a lot of scary-sounding stuff.
Yeah, and these are all serious eye conditions.
Let's focus on AMD for a second.
Sure.
Can you remind me what exactly that is and how blue light makes it worse?
Okay, so AMD, it's actually one of the leading causes of vision loss. Yeah, especially for people over 50.
Wow.
It affects the macula, which is that central part of the retina that gives you sharp central vision.
Right.
And what this review suggests is that long-term exposure to blue light, especially the high-energy kind, it can damage the delicate cells in the macula. And that increases your risk of developing AMD.
So it's not just how long we're looking at screens, but the type of light they're giving off.
Right. And those energy levels are a big part of the equation.
So then what about those other conditions, like cataracts, for example?
Oh, yeah, cataracts.
How does blue light play a role there?
Think of it this way. Blue light can really speed up eye problems that are already there.
Oh, I see.
So if you've got cataracts, for instance, blue light might make that clouding of the lens happen faster.
So it's like blue light is an accomplice making things worse?
Exactly. And the thing is, this damage, it often happens gradually.
Right. It's not like you get hit with a ton of blue light and suddenly your eyes are bad.
No, it's the buildup over time that's what we need to be aware of.
Okay, so blue light exposure is adding up and slowly causing damage without us even noticing.
Pretty much.
Okay, I'm starting to get a little concerned here.
I get it.
But before I ditch all my devices and move into a cave, tell me, how does this damage actually happen at the cellular level?
How does blue light mess with our eyes on such a small scale?
Yeah.
Well, this is where the review gets super interesting. It looks at all the ways blue light can cause damage.
Okay.
And to help understand this, imagine the eye like a busy city.
A city. All right, I'm picturing it, lots of different parts all working together.
Right, and everything's running smoothly. No, bring blue light into the picture.
Okay, what happened?
It's like this sudden, intense surge in energy demand. The city can handle it for a bit, but if this keeps happening, eventually things get overwhelmed. The infrastructure can't take it.
So what breaks down first?
Well, the power plants, for one.
The power plants.
Yeah, think of those as the mitochondria in our cells.
Okay, so blue light overloads our cells' powerhouses.
Exactly, they start malfunctioning. Then you've got the waste management system that's like the lysosomes in our cells.
So the cleanup crew can't keep up with the mess.
Right, and on top of that, you've got traffic jams everywhere that's like inflammation in the eye.
Oh boy, sounds chaotic.
It is. Inflammation disrupts everything and causes even more damage.
So blue light throws our eye city into total chaos.
It can, yeah, but thankfully our eyes are pretty smart.
They have some defenses.
Oh, yeah. They've evolved some pretty clever ways to protect themselves.
Like what?
Well, we've got pigments like melanin and lipofuscin.
Melanin. Like what gives our skin its color?
That's the one. And these pigments can actually absorb some of that blue light energy.
Oh, that's cool.
And we've got these things called antioxidant enzymes in our cells.
Antioxidant enzymes, what do they do?
They're like tiny cleanup crews. They go around neutralizing harmful free radicals.
Free radicals, those are the troublemakers, right?
Yes. And blue light creates a lot of them.
So the antioxidant enzymes are like the city's damage control team.
Exactly. They're working hard to keep things in check.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But does that mean if I have dark brown eyes, I'm basically invincible to blue light?
Haha. I wish it were that easy. While melanin does offer some protection, it's not foolproof.
Darn.
Everyone needs to be mindful of their blue light exposure no matter what color their eyes are.
So even those of us with built-in sunglasses need to be careful.
Exactly. And to really figure out how much damage blue light can do, scientists have been doing some pretty amazing research.
Oh yeah. How are they studying this?
Well, they're using both cell and animal models to get a better understanding.
Okay, tell me more about these studies.
So they'll take cells like mouse retinal cells or even human retinal pigment epithelial cells.
Those are the ones that line the back of the eye, right?
You got it. And they expose these cells to different intensities of blue light, kind of mimicking what happens in real life.
And what do they see?
Well, they've observed those same damaging effects we talked about, oxidative stress problems with the endoplasmic reticulum.
Yeah.
It's like the cell's manufacturing and packaging system, basically. It gets messed up.
Oh no.
It's kind of like creating a mini blue light apocalypse in a petri dish.
Intense.
Yeah.
So they're building a pretty strong case against blue light in the lab. But what about living organisms?
That's where the animal models come in. They've used rats specifically.
Rats.
Yeah, they expose them to different intensities of blue light for different amounts of time.
Like shining blue light on them for hours.
Not necessarily, but enough to see the impact. And you know what? They found similar damage patterns to the cellular studies.
So it's not just cells in a dish, it's actually affecting living eyes.
Right. And some of the rats even developed cataracts.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is starting to sound a bit alarming.
I know, it's a lot to take in.
It's not just some harmless glow from our gadgets. Blue light can cause some serious damage.
That's the reality we have to face. But don't worry.
There's hope.
There's hope. Researchers are looking into all sorts of solutions to combat this blue light damage, and we'll get into all that right after this quick break.
Sounds good to me. We'll be back soon with more on how to protect our precious peepers from the blue light blues.
I can't wait.
Okay, so we're back, and I am ready to hear about those solutions. Hopefully I don't have to live in a dimly lit room for the rest of my life.
Well, dimming the lights a bit isn't necessarily a bad idea, but thankfully there are more proactive things we can do.
Okay, good, because I really like my lamps.
This review breaks down the main strategies into 3 categories: chemical drugs, natural medicine, and gene therapy.
Okay, so we've got a mix of the traditional and the futuristic. Let's start with those chemical drugs. What are we talking about here?
So basically, researchers are looking at different compounds that can protect our eyes from blue light damage.
Makes sense.
One promising area is using free radical scavengers. Remember those harmful free radicals we talked about?
Yeah, the troublemakers.
Right. Well, these scavengers, they basically neutralize them so they can't cause as much damage.
It's like they're a cleanup crew after a blue light bomb went off.
Perfect analogy. And you might be surprised to hear that some of these scavengers are things you already know.
So really, like what?
Vitamins C and E.
No way those are antioxidants, right?
Yep. They're already known for being good for your overall health, but now it seems they can help protect your eyes from blue light too.
So all that talk about eating fruits and veggies for good eyesight was true after all.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And there are other compounds like astaxanthin, which you can find in algae and seafood.
That's the astaxanthin. That's
No,
another.
it's a powerful antioxidant that's been shown to protect those retinal pigment epithelial cells. Remember those?
The ones that make up that important layer in the back of the eye.
You got it.
Okay, astaxanthin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to remember that one. Sounds like a superhero or something.
It does.
Oh.
Okay, so those are the free radical fighters. What else is in the chemical drug toolbox?
Yeah, what else have they got?
Well, another approach is to focus on the enzymes that naturally protect our eyes.
Oh, so giving them a boost.
Exactly. One example is lutein. It's a pigment found in leafy greens, and it helps create a protective shield in the macula.
The macula, that's the central part of the retina we were talking about, right?
Yep, the one that gives you that sharp central vision.
So lutein, it's like giving our eyes extra armor.
I like that. And lutein can also help reduce inflammation in the retina, which is a major factor in blue light damage.
Okay, so we've got vitamins, antioxidants, enzyme protectors. It's like we're building an entire army to defend our eyes.
Haha, that's one way to look at it. So that's the chemical drug front. Pretty promising stuff, but let's move on to natural medicine. What's happening there?
Okay. Natural remedies. I'm all ears.
This is where things get really interesting. There's a growing interest in using plant-based solutions to fight blue light damage.
I love that. Using the power of nature.
Right, so scientists are looking at all these different compounds found in plants to see how they can protect our eyes.
Okay, so spill the tea. What kind of plants are we talking about here?
Well, one ingredient that's showing real promise is procyanidin B2.
Procyanidin B2. Try saying that 5 times fast.
I know,
Where
right?
would you even find that?
Grape seeds.
Grape seeds. Who knew?
Studies have shown that it can actually help protect those retinal pigment epithelial cells, remember them?
Yes. Our little city factory workers.
Exactly. It helps by reducing oxidative stress and even calming down that endoplasmic reticulum stress.
So giving those little factories a break.
Yep. Grape seeds to the rescue.
Amazing.
What else do we have?
Well, there's curcumin, the active ingredient in turmeric.
Turmeric lattes for better eye health. I can get behind that.
Right. It's a super potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, and it's been shown to protect the retina from blue light damage.
That's fantastic. Okay, and I'm going to guess there's something about red wine in here, too.
You know it.
Yeah.
Resveratrol, found in red wine and grapes.
Of course.
Another powerful antioxidant, and it's also been linked to protecting those retinal cells.
So drinking red wine can actually be good for my eyes.
Potentially?
Yeah.
But remember everything in moderation. Okay, point taken. It's still pretty cool that these everyday things we eat and drink could have such a big impact on our eye health.
I agree. It really shows you how powerful nature can be.
All right, so we've got chemical drugs and natural medicine. All sounds very promising. But what about that third category, gene therapy? Now that sounds seriously futuristic.
It does, doesn't it? So gene therapy, it basically involves modifying genes to help the eye fight off blue light damage.
Whoa, okay, so we're talking about changing our DNA.
In a way,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like giving our eyes a software upgrade.
Okay, that is seriously cool, but how does that even work?
It's complicated, but essentially scientists are figuring out ways to deliver genes to the eye that can do a couple of things.
Like what?
Well, they can boost the production of those protective proteins and enzymes we talked about earlier.
Oh, so giving those little city factories an extra power boost.
Exactly. Or they can target genes that regulate cell death.
Cell death.
Yeah, basically making the retinal cells tougher and more resilient to blue light damage.
So it's like reinforcing the city walls to withstand a siege.
I like that analogy. Gene therapy, it's still early days, but it has huge potential for treating eye diseases, including those caused by blue light.
This is all so fascinating. But before we get too carried away, let's talk about what we can do right now to protect our eyes. We've covered the damage and the potential solutions, but what are some practical tips our listeners can use today?
That's a great point. Prevention is key, and there are simple things you can do to minimize your risk.
I'm all ears. What can we do to fight back against the blue light blues?
Okay, first and foremost, screen time.
Oh, I feel a lecture coming on.
No lecture, I promise. But we all love our devices, right?
Definitely guilty as charged.
We just need to be aware of how much time we're spending in front of them.
Okay, fair enough.
Try to limit your screen time, especially in the hours before bed.
So no more scrolling through social media before I sleep.
That's the idea. Remember, blue light can mess with your sleep.
Okay, I'll try my best.
What else? Another easy one is to adjust your screen brightness.
Oh yeah, dimmer screen, less blue light.
Exactly. Easy win.
Okay, I can definitely do that. Anything else?
You've probably heard about blue light filtering glasses.
The ones with the yellow tint?
Yep. They have special lenses that block or filter out some of that blue light.
Do they really work though?
There's some debate about how effective they are, but they might be worth considering, especially if you're on screens a lot.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. What else can we do?
Here's a simple one that we often forget. Blink.
Blink. Seriously.
It sounds silly, but when we stare at screens, we tend to blink less.
That's true. I never noticed that.
And that can lead to dry, irritated eyes.
Oh, right. So blinking more keeps our eyes lubricated.
Exactly. And lastly, the most important tip. Listen to your body. If your eyes feel tired or strained, take a break.
A break from the screen.
Yep. Look away, focus on something in the distance, or just close your eyes for a few minutes. Your eyes will thank you.
That's great advice.
Hmm.
I think I might need a screen break after this, actually.
Me too. But before we do, let's talk about the bigger picture. We've talked about the science, the solutions, but what does all this mean for the future of eye health? That's what we'll explore in our final segment.
We're back and ready for our final segment on blue light. This whole thing has really got me thinking about the future. where technology and eye health collide.
It's definitely a crucial intersection, and this review emphasizes just how important it is to think ahead.
Like, what kind of thinking ahead are we talking about?
One thing that stood out to me was the focus on personalized medicine.
Personalized medicine.
Yeah.
For our eyes.
Yeah. When it comes to blue light protection, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Oh, so it's not like everyone needs those blue light blocking glasses all the time.
Exactly. The best approach will be different for everyone.
Okay, I can see that.
It depends on how much time you spend looking at screens, your age, your genetics, even your current eye health.
Wow, so many factors.
The future of eye care is all about understanding those individual needs and then tailoring the strategies to each person.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like getting a custom-made suit of armor for your eyes.
Haha, yeah. But this makes me wonder about something else.
What's that?
We talked about gene therapy for treating damage that's already there.
Yeah, repairing what's broken.
Right, but what if we could go even further?
Like prevent the damage from happening in the first place.
Exactly. What if we could genetically enhance our eyes to be more resistant to blue light?
Whoa, yeah, that's some next-level stuff. It'd be like having built-in blue light filters.
Right. Imagine a world where our eyes can handle all the screens we use without any consequences.
It'd be like our eyes evolved to keep up with technology.
It really makes you think about the possibilities, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the ethical questions that come with it.
It definitely opens up a whole can of worms.
Yeah. But it's exciting to think about what the future holds.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into blue light, what's the main thing you want our listeners to take away from all this?
I'd say the biggest takeaway is to be proactive. We live in a digital world. Screens are everywhere.
They're pretty unavoidable at this point.
Right, but understanding the risks of blue light and taking steps to protect ourselves, that can make a huge difference for our eye health in the long run.
It's all about taking control of our eye health destiny.
Exactly.
Well, there you have it, folks. The latest on blue light and how it affects our vision.
We covered a lot.
We did. The science, the solutions, even a peek into the future. It's been an illuminating journey, to say the least.
I see what you did there.
I couldn't resist. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of blue light. Until next time, stay curious and keep those eyes healthy.